Today, I'm going to be playing Skyhawk Rolling Thunder 1966, a solitaire game designed by Steve Dixon and Bob Best. Steve Dixon, you're known for, or you might recognize that name from several of his other air chart war games, solitaire charty war games. I call them charty war games because you're going to be following a series of charts, rolling on those charts, and seeing what happens, which will affect what other chart you might go to or what might happen on another chart, and kind of drives the narrative forward. There's decisions in between all that, but it is a lot of charts and a lot of die rolling. So if you're squeamish, then you might want to look away. Hopefully you'll stay because I got some cool cutscenes. I hope. If everything works out. This is published by Legion Wargames, which was kind of sent me this copy when this was published in 2022, so a couple of years ago now. I'll put a link to some of my earlier coverage of that, but it's been a while since I've had this to the table, so I'm probably rusty on the rules, so please do not use this as a tutorial or how to play. Feel free to correct me when I'm wrong, but hopefully I'll cut away and try to correct my own mistakes if I can. This isn't going to be a true just live play, because I am going to be chopping it up a little bit and saving you some of the bookkeeping along the way, but I might also bring you in on some of the decisions along the way as well. We shall see. We'll see how this all works out. What I have planned in my head and what actually might happen are usually two different things. So this is the board that you play on. It's a very nice little mounted board here. This is the A4 Skyhawk, which is the one I'll be flying today. From my aircraft carrier, or from, not my aircraft carrier, but at least the one I'm stationed on. And you start off in the launch bin right there, and you're basically going to be following a series of steps all the way around the board in kind of a loop. There's a lot of repetition at this stage. I think when I covered it earlier, that's something that I said was not as appealing to me. But the more I've played this, again, it's been a while since I have played it, but the more I played it after that first few plays, I kind of like that a little bit, how that works out. So you'll be repeating, this enemy fire stage, several places, here, 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 and then you might do it again if you want to take another loop over the target or a couple loops over the target. And then the rest of it is trying to get home with your fuel and, hopefully not any unfortunate events. So that is basically the chart of the game. But before we can even start playing, we need to do some paperwork. And so I have this Skyhawk mission record card here, which I actually made a copy of. They give you like a player aid thickness material, and I made several copies of this because it's easier just to write on this. There are holding boxes to put stuff like my name, Grand Slam. I've flown, I think this might be the second mission I've done with him. You roll to see what you are, and there's a whole chart for that. Again, there's a lot of charts in this game, and I'm experienced. You get, that's kind of midway. If you're green, you're going to get a negative modifier. If you're a veteran, you get some positive modifiers. So it's kind of a neutral position. You can chart your altitudes here from low, medium, and high. And then the rest of this is all like damage on the plane. When you get damage to your pilot or damage to the plane or use up ammo, then you check that off on this right here. My name is Grand Slam, and I'm not doing a campaign. This is just going to be a solo mission, so I didn't put a number there, but I need to put mission number 2. Target, I need to determine that, and in order to determine that, you've got to refer to your target listing gazetter here, and you will roll the dice. And so got my dice right here. I got my dice box over the side. I should probably bring that over to the camera, but we'll see how that works out. I'm not as sophisticated to have one of those cut screens like the high-priced YouTubers with their Patreons and the like. So I rolled a 43, so that's going to be Hanoi to Haiphong, that is the location, the road and rail route 5 interdiction. And it is, the type is communication and transportation line, and the route package is 6B. Now, what does all that mean? The main thing is the 6B, that's going to tell me what kind of loadout I need to do on my plane. The type, it tells me, what kind of ordnance I might want to put on there. to make sure I can knock out these communication and transportation. These are a little bit tougher to get to because you're talking about actually, communication lines and phone lines and rail lines and stuff like that are not just big blocks of building there, and so you've got to use a different ordinance to make sure that you get to that stuff. And we'll look at that when we look at ordinances. And so there you have it there. So I will put that on my chart here when I get a chance. I'm going to save you the boring bookkeeping on there. But let's look over at your Skyhawk ordinance card here. And so when you look at the different route packages, which that basically tells you how far in country you're going. So like in route package 1, you're just hitting the coast, right off the carrier, so you don't need as much fuel. 6B, you're kind of going in country, like Hanoi is a little bit far there, and so you're going to need more fuel. So you can either put a 300 or 400 gallon fuel. I just throw a 400 gallon tank on there. It has it weighs 2,600 pounds right there. But my center line, you put the tank on the center line, load limit is 3,600, so I'm 1,000 under, so that's fine. I could have went with the 300 as well. On the left, and you have the left and right outboard. This tells you what you can put in those different slots there. What I decided to put in those slots are the LAU 3/A, as you can see it there, which is 430 pounds. Each one is 430 pounds, and I have a load limit of 600 pounds, so well within my load limit. Why did I pick those? Well, those get a bonus on transportation and communication lines. They get a +1, not on determining. There's two things you determine over a target. You determine whether you're on target, off target. That's the first thing. And if you're on target, you got a much better chance of getting a percentage of damage. You're trying to keep track of how much damage you do, or the percentage of the damage that you do to a target, and that translates into points that you keep track and see what your success of the mission is. Basically, as long as you get something over 0, your pilot survives and you get back to the carrier, you're gonna win the mission. But we all want more points, right? And then so you roll first, see if you're on target, off target, and each ordinance is a little bit different. And then you roll to see what your success is. So and for both of those, like if you're off target, it's really hard to get any success. You're in like the 5 to 10% range. If you're on target, you can go to pretty high percentages. So you want to roll higher on that chart. This gives me a +1. Each one of those gives me a +1 on that chart. On the success piece, not on whether you're off target or on target. So that's why I'm putting this here. Then in the left inboard and right inboard, you can carry the following up to 6 Mark 81s or very different types of configurations of that. I decided to do the 6 Mark 81 Snake Eye on both sides. So I'm going to have 12 of those bad boys, 6 on one side, 6 on the other. And what's the difference with Snake Eye? Well, Snake Eye, if you put it with, I think like fins out, it's like in drag mode, but that gives a +1 to be on target. I think it's on target. I'll get to that rule when I get there. So there's a lot of little details in this game. Again, it's predominantly a chart game, but the designer has tried to recreate all the kind of little decisions and the little differences in the ordinances and what you encounter through modifiers to those charts. And so there's this gives you a +1 if you do it in drag mode. So that's what I'm putting on. That's what I'm doing for my ordinance. So I have that built out there. And again, each one of these is, so 2 of these goes up to 3 of them add up to 750, so 2 of them are 1,500, and my load limit on is 1950 on this for this station, and 1950 for this station. So I'm well under my load limit for everything on this plane. So I have that over there. I'll save that for later. And then the next thing I do, I think I'm getting pretty close to taking off. Let me mark my charts real quick, and then be right back to you. Miss me? I'm back. while you were out taking your bio break or hitting the head, I did roll a few more administrative type things like weather over target and weather over trap. Trap is the place where you land. Again, remember, you have to have the pilot survive, you have to do some damage over the target, and you have to land the plane on the aircraft carrier. That's where the trap section comes in. So good news is I have good weather over the target. Bad news is I have poor weather over the trap. So as I come back, even if I do well here and survive all this, I could lose the game at the end here. You can also lose the game in the beginning if you do not launch correctly. And the weather over the launch really is fine. You don't have to worry about that unless you roll on this single mission table right here, and you get deteriorating weather. You also get can get government intrusion. That's another thing that's neat about this game. You learn a little bit of history along the way. There's some discussion in there about how missions were planned or decided way back in Washington, D.C., and so that's why your missions are what they are. You also get government intrusion, where it's determining your missions or canceling your mission, and so everything we just set up could change if I roll that. But let's roll the dice. You roll 1d10 on that, and with a roll of a 7, I get no event. So no government intrusion, no weather deterioration. However, I'm not done yet. That's all just determining my weather. Before I launch, I got to see what kind of support I'm going to get, because this isn't a solo. It could be a solo mission, but you really don't like having a solo mission. You really want to have some U.S. support units to help along the way, some buddies, so to speak. So you're going to roll on this table 4.1 for support units. A 0 or none available, which is not ideal, and all the way up to a 9, which is hard to get, is 6 units available. Let's see what we get on our roll right here. And oh my goodness, so I got a 7, so that means we get 5 units are available. Wow, so that's pretty cool. I like that, because that helps you out a lot. So what kind of units do you got? You got all these different kind of units here, and what they tell you is, if you see those little notations up in the upper right hand corner, they tell you what they help you fight off, and these really help you at this stage right here, which you're going to be doing this a lot. You're going to be hitting 1, 2, 3, 4 times at least, and if you repeat over the target, you're going to get it 5, 6, 7 times if you go over the target twice. So think about that. So up in that upper right-hand corner, it tells you what this can address. This does small arms, anti-aircraft, and artillery, and this one does MiGs. The other thing you need to take account of are SAMs, but I've got a little bit of a way to get around that. SAMs can only fire if you're above low altitude, so I usually try to take a very low altitude approach all along this way, and so therefore I'd never have to assign somebody to SAM duty, and so I can free up my planes to do this other stuff here. So we get 5 of these bad boys. Well, one of these I'm going to take is let's see here. One of these I think I want to do is the EMC. ECM, I should say, electronic countermeasures, because if you have one of these that do electronic countermeasures, you assign them to electronic countermeasures, and that's going to affect anti-aircraft artillery and SAMs. They get you get a positive modifier to hit, and they get a negative modifier to hit you. Of course, if I'm not dealing with SAMs, I don't have to worry about it, but at least it helps me with the anti-aircraft. So anti-aircraft artillery. So I'll definitely do one of those. I definitely want to do these, let's see here. I'll definitely want to do these F4 Phantoms 2s that deal with all these. They deal with small arms, anti-air, AAA, SAMs, and MiGs. So it gives me a lot more flexibility. So I definitely want one of those, and probably want 2 of those. Let's see. Do we have 2 that do everything? Yeah, we do 2 that do everything. So that's 3 of my units. And then I'll probably want to round out with these. These are not, they say F6 intruder, but there was an error. These I think should be EA intruders, but they deal with ECM, so it gives me some backup for the ECM duty. Small arms, AAA, and SAMs. Again, I really don't need the SAMs as much, but you know, I like the flexibility with them. And then the last thing I probably want to do is this F4 Phantom, that's small arms, AAA, and MiGs. So I have, you know, I've got you know, at least 3 choices to go on MiGs, 2 choices to go on ECM, and 1, 2, 3, 4 choices go on small arms. And since I'm not really worrying about SAMs, I don't have to worry about them as much. So that's what I'm going to go with for my 5 support units. And so they all go in this box right here, and you get to assign those every turn. Now you can only assign, you can assign up to 2 on each one of these, except for the MiGs. I think you can only assign 1 to those. So now finally, we're ready to launch and get off the deck, so to speak. So there is a launch table here. And so roll a 1 to 6 is a possible incident. You don't want that to happen because you could lose the game before you even start, right? And then a 7 to 100 is good. So let's see if we can get, and you roll 2 10-sided dice, and you're rolling them kind of as percentage dice and then reading them off that way. So I rolled a 31. So luckily, you know, you get +5 if you're a veteran, which we don't have. You get -5 if you're green, which we don't have. And you get -5 if you had bad weather that came from that single mission planning, but we don't have that either. So 31 gets us off the deck. We have launched. So let's move this over here. And we are moving to inbound random event, but we are off the launch phase. Nice takeoff. Now, before we roll on the inbound random event, which is the box we're in right now, we need to set our altitude. So I'm setting it as low, because as I said, I want to keep it low to stay away from the AAA down below. So I set it at low, and then we get to roll on this chart here. You roll 1d10, and we roll a 5, which you are an ace bomber today. Add +1 to your on and off target roll for each attack run for you and any non-player Skyhawk flying on today's mission. See note D. Awesome. So we get a +1 to my bomb. That is much appreciated. I'll put this in a note right here, +1 to my bomb run or attack run right there. Now next, so that was our inbound event, nice event. Now we go to aerial refuel. So let's go to that chart again. There's a lot of charts, so be ready for it. So here's the aerial refueling box right here on a roll of 0, because it's 0 to 9 as opposed to 1 to 10. An incident occurs, and a 1 to 9 successful refueling continue with the mission, which very low chance of this, but you know, did I jinx it? No, I didn't. I rolled a 7, so successful refueling. So now we move on to support attacks right here. So this is where it gets real. This is where we start assigning our aircraft based on what they can do. So if we did our planning right, we should hopefully have the right resources. So I'm going to put the electronic countermeasures up here in this box right here. So that's going to give us some pluses against the anti-aircraft. I can only do 1 plane against the MiGs. So I will put this Phantom 4 that can deal with MiGs. I'll put that right here. I will put, for small arms, I will put this Phantom at small arms, and you can do up to 2 on every box. Oh, it's not AAA. I took that. I get +1 against the AAA, but flying low avoids the SAMs. I think I said that right. I might have said it right earlier and then said it wrong later, but I'm going to say it right now. So you don't have to worry about the SAMs if you fly low. Now, there's another rule about the SAMs too. If you do want to engage with the SAMs, if you're at any other altitude, there's this whole rule on whether they're on or off. And if they're on, they get a better chance to hit you. If they're off, then they're firing manually. And so there's rules on how you roll for that. So I'm going to put this at the AAA, and I've got one extra one here. Do I go for the small arms or the AAA? I'm going to put these on small arms. Hopefully I can knock out those, and once you knock these out, then you don't have to worry about them for the rest of the mission. So maybe that's what I'm going to do there. So now I go to the charts, and we shall see. Now, before I do the rolling, I want to take a look at this chart here, and I just noticed something that I probably could have done differently. You get a +1 to SAM and AAA for every ECM you have in the box, and you can't put more than 2 in the ECM box. So I could have put another ECM in there and would give me a +2 on the rolls for AAA. I'm not worrying about SAMs right now, but I didn't do that. So let's do our rolling. So let's do the small arms first. On a 0 to 4 is a miss. Then I get a suppressed and a knocked out. Suppressed, you place the suppressed marker. Target can have no more than 2 suppression markers. It gets a -1 roll for each suppression when it fires at you. So you attack first, and then they get to attack back. Knocked out, NV defense box cannot be used for defensive fire. Place a knocked out marker. That's what we want to have happen. And then disengage. That's dealing with the MiGs there. So let's get to rolling. You roll a D10. I'm doing small arms. I have no modifier, but I can do 2. I believe I can do 2 attacks because I got 2 planes there that each have small arms capability. So I roll on the first one, and that is a 7. So gotta like that. So that is a knocked out. So I don't have to worry about those bad boys. Now I go to the AAA here, which I do get a +1 for my ECM in there. So I need to roll on this chart here. Hopefully you can see all that. I roll a 3 + 1 is a miss. So miss. So I probably should have put 2 there. Then I skip the SAM because I'm at low altitude. Then I go to the MiG. Let's see what I can do with good old MiG here. Now disengage, place a disengage marker. MiGs can no longer attack. Oh, wow, I like that because then I don't have to worry about the MiGs anymore. But let's see what I get here. I roll a 2, so that is a miss. So these bad boys will be firing back at me. Got to love that. So now we go to their chart here where they roll back at me. There's not going to be any small arms, and there's not going to be any SAM. So I got to worry about anti-aircraft and MiGs. So let's do the anti-aircraft first, and they get a -1 because of the ECM. So I roll the dice for them, and they roll a 4. -1 is a 3, so that is a miss. Solve that. So now we go to the MiGs. Now they don't get a -1. A 0 to 4 is a miss, a 5 is a miss, a 6 is a hit, and a 7. So 6+ is going to be a hit with these guys here. And I rolled, I can't see it there. So I rolled a 0. So that's on the low end of the scale. So complete miss there. So that is good. So I got by the enemy fires. Oh, I should have done a fuel check first. Doggone it. This was the area refuel, and I got to do a fuel check. So reverse that. I should have done the fuel check and then do the enemy fire, but, you know, I did the enemy fire very well. I'm not going to redo that. I'm not repeating that. No do-overs. So let's go to my fuel check, which I got to find that here. Here we go. So fuel check, and I'm in the support attack box. So you've got fuel checks that are in support attack, a reattack, target reattack, outbound and carrier approach. So let's see what I roll here. A 0 to 7 is okay. Actually, 0 to 9 is okay. 10 is a bingo. So what's my die roll modifier? Oh, there is die roll modifiers for bad weather. Right now, the weather over the target is good, so I don't get any modifiers for bad weather. But there's that poor weather that I wonder if that's going to affect my carrier approach. So if the weather's poor, I'm going to be getting a +1 on that. I'll have to check that before I roll it. So let's roll on the approach. I roll a 3, so fuel is okay. So I fix that anyway. So then I do my enemy fires. Now these all go back to their support rolls, the support box there. Then we roll over to target approach. I don't have to do a fuel check there, but I do have to do the enemy fire stage again. So I'm gonna put let's do that 2 EMCs on here, and I put 1 MiG here, and then I can put 2 on the AA. So I'm going to get a +2 on that, and I've got 2 different attacks on that if I'm playing that right. So that gotta love that, right? So let's get back to the attack charts here. But before we, yeah, no, that's good. We'll do that. Alrighty, let's get to some rolling. So we don't have to worry about the small arms. We got to worry about the AAA. I get a +2. Let's do the first attack. I've got 2 planes there. So 4 + 2 is 6. So that is suppressed. So I got at very least a suppressed. And then I'm going to attack with my other plane there. And, ooh, 9 knocked out. So this is getting very nice here. So I don't have to worry about them anymore. Now let's go to the MiG. And I don't get any modifiers for the MiG. And 0 is a miss. So the MiG are going to be coming back on to me. Well, survived all those missiles. Now let's go to the MiG here. Roll a 6. So that is a hit. So I got a hit from the MiG. So what do we do when we get a hit here? We need to determine just noticed something. I noticed this chart here. I think I've been using the different charts here. Oh, so this is a hit. Oh, geez. So that hit, that knocks out that plane. So that plane is going to be completely knocked out. So bye-bye to my F4 Phantom 2. No longer there. So I will good thing I got some backup to go against the MiGs there. So now we will go to the target attack. And I believe we do the enemy fires first before we do the target attack. So I need to assign these again. I'm not gonna. I'd only need 1 in the ECM, but it's not going to really do anything for me now. I mainly just need to worry about the MiGs, and I've got. You can only do 1 thing in the MiG, so I've got a lot of extra support there, and not a whole lot to do with them. So let's see if these can survive the MiGs here. So I'm going to roll on my MiG chart right here. and I roll a 6, so it is suppressed. So that means it's going to have a -1 when it attacks my plane here. So I roll the dice on this, and I roll a 6 -1 is a miss. So live to fight another day there. So now we get to go to the attack stage. Alrighty then. So here we are. I think I'm going to do the LAU 3/A, and when you drop, I think you drop both of them. So I got one on each outer wing. So I think you drop both of them. I don't know if I can save one. If you guys know differently, let me know. So I'll be dropping those bad boys here. So now I determine if I'm off target or on target. Remember, I get that +1 for the ace bomber. I roll 1 10-sided die. And with a roll of 5 +1, I'm a 6, so I am on target. Now, I would get a minus if I was green, or I get a minus if the weather was poor or bad, but weather is good over target, so that is good for me. So now I go to the, yeah, that was close to being off target. And you can see here, the difference between on target and off target is very large here. So you're doing a lot of zeros, and then you might get a 5 or 10 if you're really lucky. But here you start off at 20, so you're automatically doing more damage on the roll. So you roll I roll a 1 10-sided die, and I get I get to use that +1 for oh, I get the +1 for the success. That was in the earlier chart on dealing with this type of ordnance. This type of ordnance for communication and transportation lines gets a +1. So that's the reason I did it, right? So I can get that +1. Oh, that fell off. Whoa. Fell off and hit a 9. So that's going to give me a 10. So I get the 60, plus I roll 3 10-sided dice. I'm going to roll these on this so you get to see what's going on here. So that's a 12, and then another 7, so that's 19. 19 plus 60 is 79. So I got a good old 79 there. So on my first result, I'm on target, and I got a 79%. Right there. Gotta love that. You know, and I might not risk it. I might come on home with that. Alrighty. So with that, should I do the target exit, which by doing the target exit, I got to go through the enemy fire again. So that goes to ECM. I should have put that back. These two are knocked out. I don't have to worry about. I'm at low altitude still, so I don't have to worry about SAM. This is suppressed, but I can only assign one aircraft there. One thing I didn't mention before, as long as I have an aircraft engaged with the MiG, they don't fire on me. So that's why I didn't have to go to that other chart earlier in the play there. I'm thinking about, God, I'd love to do another swipe at it because I've got a good position, but it's also getting late, and I'm running out of film time here. So so let's go with the attack on the MiGs here. I roll the dice, and I don't get any pluses with anything. So with a 6, I am suppressed, so it's still suppressed. So I get to roll the MiGs roll, and with a 3 minus 1, because it's suppressed, is a 2, so it misses. So now comes the choice: is do I do a reattack? I've got a pretty good situation here, so yeah, let's do the reattack. So I'll reattack. I roll on the random events, so I got to find that chart on the reattack here. So it's table 14 is the reattack random roll. It's a D10. Most of these things are D10s. So I rolled an 8, and that is no event. So, but I have to do a fuel check. Where was that fuel check chart? I'm trying to save you some of all the chart flipping, but there is quite a bit of it. So you got to get used to that. The fuel check. So this is the full fuel check for reattack. So I roll the dice here, and with a 3, fuel is okay. So now I go back to target approach. Again, I should have moved that ECM back, but we know what he's doing. He's not really helping me out with anything because he doesn't help out with MiGs, and that's all I got left is MiGs. It's MiGsville all the way here. So if I can knock out that MiG, I'll have a clear run throughout the rest of this. So I need to roll the dice here. I get no bonuses to it. And with a 8, I get a disengage. So finally, we're done with these bad boys. So we're disengaged with them. So now I go to the target. Now with these, I'll go back in the support box. Now I'm over the target. The enemy fires, but these two are knocked out. This is disengaged. So I think I've got clear sailing here. So now I go back to the target. I'm going to unload all of these, Mark 81 Snake Eyes, which they have to be done at low altitude, which is what I am. I'm just skimming the top of the trees. And I get a +1 for that, I believe. We'll see. But I'm loading all of this because when you drop the ordnance, I think you got to drop all of it. Might be wrong on that, but that's how I've kind of done it in the past. So first I got to see if I'm on target. But remember, I get that +1 for being on target. And there's a separate chart for Mark. There's the chart for Mark 81s. But I need Mark 81 Snake Eyes, which are these right here. Weather's good, so no modifier here. I'm in drag mode, so I get that +1. That's what I was talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I roll the dice, and with a 5, +1 is a 6, so I'm on target. What's the deployed stand? Oh, because I am deployed. I'm in the drag mode, so I am deployed. So I am, it was even better to do it. So I'm on target. So now I go back to chart 16 and see what we do with that. It's this chart right over here. I need to flip the page. So I roll the die on this chart. I'm on target. So see what I can get here. And I roll a 2. I don't get the +1 because that was only for that special ordinance, but I get a 2. So that's 30%. Wow. So that works out pretty good. So I was on target for, let's show you this right here. I was on, it shows you if you're on target or off target. And I get another 30%. So I think that those total up to points. I got 109 points. So I did 100. I think you can go over 100. Mine goes to 11. I got 109% on the target. I think that's a safe mission. So now I go to moving off target. I get the enemy roll again. Nothing to do there. But now I go to outbound to carrier. And I think there might be an event there on outbound to carrier. But let's finish up with what we did over the target first. All right, so you like that? All right, now we go to outbound to carrier. I do a fuel check. I'm used to getting shot up. I'm not marking off anything on this bad boy. Normally I get shot up pretty well on these. Nice job here. Having the extra support really changed things mightily. So I'm going to get to roll on the outbound to carrier fuel check here, which is a 6. So I'm fuel okay. If I rolled a 8, I might have had something different on there. Okay, so we did the fuel check. Now we go transit to carrier, roll on table 17. Let's go to that here. Random event carrier transit box. Let's see what we get here. So I rolled a 2, and that is no event. Ooh, well, the weather over carrier could change. I kind of like to get that because I like to change it to, because I'm at poor right now. All right, so now we come into our carrier approach. I've got another fuel check to deal with on the carrier approach here. And here is the fuel check on carrier approach. This is a little bit easier here. And I roll a 5, so fuel is okay. So now I got to land it, and that is the weather over the trap. So let's see where that goes on here. And I've been referring to this off screen. This is where you, let's see, moving to outbound, and then carrier transit, choose altitude, roll for random event. If no event occurs, go to carrier approach box. This is the carrier approach box. Do a fuel check, which I did. If all good, move Skyhawk to trap box on carrier C66. So I got to go to C6. Place Skyhawk on trap box of carrier. Aircraft must be at load altitude to land, which I am. Roll on table 18 to determine roll of altitude. So let's go to the trap box. Actually, before we go there, let's see what this is. Let's just do this. Let's go to the trap box and see what we got here. So what is that roll? That was 18. 18. I can still blow this up, guys and gals. Could screw it all up. Oh, wow. So a 1 to 4 is a landing mishap. A 5 to 14 is a wave off. And a 15 to... I rolled a... I was worried there. This is a percentile of dice. So weather is bad. No, what is weather? Weather is poor. So I get a -5 on anything I roll. Is any other tell, destroy? Yeah, I normally get shot up, so I normally have to worry about some stuff. But everything's in good order. So I'm all good here. So I just get the -5. So whatever I roll, I take 5 off of it, and we'll see what we got here. So I rolled a 41 -5 is 36. I am successful. So there you have it. That is Skyhawk Rolling Thunder 1966. I'll go back and check the tape. I might have butchered a few things. I'll let you figure that out as well. But I mean, having 5 support really helped out a lot in this. Getting some good rolls and knocking some of these out early was really good. I believe I played that right. I think once you knock them out, you knock them out. You don't have to worry about them again. But anyway, this would be if I only had 4 support, this would have been a much different mission. A lot of times when I play this, I've only had like 1 or 2 support, and that really changes things. That's why I usually get shot up quite a bit. And then you get to the repair, and you've got campaigns and all that other fun stuff. But this is a quick way of looking at how you do this. I thought I had a little bit of chrome to it with some of the cutscenes. But anyway, let me know what you think about this game, or let me know what you think what I butchered on it, anything I did wrong. It's been a while since I played it, but I had a good time. Did a really good job with 79% and 30% over target. Mission accomplished. Take care, all. Thanks for watching.